everybody. Welcome to JB Hudson and to tonight's presentation during happy hour. My name is Kimberley Thompson. I've been with JB Hudson Jewelers for 37 years as sales professional, as their estate and jewelry buyer, as also a jewelry person with passion for jewelry. I'm in a very fortunate spot of not only is this my vocation, is my avocation. And tonight we are really having a treat. We are going to be walking through the world of Gurhan. Gurhan is a jewelry line that I first saw in London almost 20 years ago. I had walked into Harrods and was strolling around the jewelry department and came across this display of this. It just stopped me because at that time it was all about high polished gold, faceted gemstones, a lot of little diamonds going everywhere. And here was this gold jewelry that just resonated with it. Literally, I know it was calling my name. It was like, touch me, with these beautiful baubles of color and multiple colors, opals that were insane. And I asked the gentleman behind the counter who it was. And he said, well, this is Gurhan. He's brand new with us. And I told him, tell me more. I'm in the industry. And he filled me in. When I got back from vacation, I told the owners and said, we have to look at this line. It's insane for somebody who is looking for an artisan bent, a creative jeweler, something that is solid, expressive, casual to dress. This is really offering something that we don't have in other lines. So I was so excited that when Gurhan walked in the door, and we've been partnering now for almost 20 years. So it's been a great ride and an accelerated growth. And once you go through this, you'll understand why it is I am so passionate about it. I am here with Elyse, and Elyse is the executive
sales manager.
Thank you. I knew I would get that one wrong. Elyse.
That's all right. It doesn't make a difference. I'm Elyse to you.
And she is a doll. She's passionate about her line. She wants to make sure that we always get the best choices and the best selection, which she does manage to get into us. So
always my favorite people.
We're going to have it kind of be like a Q&A. I'm going to be asking questions and Elyse is going to be answering them. So we're going to be playing back and forth, and we're welcoming you to our conversation between two friends. So Elyse, tell me about Gurhan the man.
I will. First, I would like to say thank you so much for inviting me. It is so nice to be here with you, Kim, and sharing not only my love, but the beauty of 24 karat jewelry. Gurhan really has such a passion for it, and you can feel it through all of his pieces. Gurhan the man. He is best described as a Renaissance man, a true lover of art, and he has always said that he's inspired by the women who wear his jewelry. He's had several careers in his life. One, an engineer by trade, so he's super technical. He also was an owner of several nightclubs in Istanbul, and that added also to his fun and creative side. And he came across the jewelry world wandering through the Istanbul market, and he came across a sheet of 24 karat gold, and he couldn't help but touch it and play with it. And he was totally intrigued by it. And they said to him, you can't do anything with it. It's too soft. It's beautiful, but it's for decoration. And as an engineer, it intrigued him. He loves to study, and he started to read and study about how jewelry was made in ancient times before they created alloys to strengthen the gold market and also bring down the value of gold by mixing it with alloy versus having it in pure gold.
We are going to, I'm going to interrupt you here a bit, Elyse. Did not realize that the screens were, the pictures were not up so that our guests could see what we are talking about. Doesn't that look like an absolute pile of gold
gorgeous candy? It's
jelly
beautiful.
Beans.
Absolutely.
Did I ever tell you that I'm kind of like a magpie? Things that are so it's why I'm in the perfect career. I'm attracted to things that are bright and shiny. So let's go to the next picture here so that our guests can see what we are talking about. There is a really prime example of Gurhan's gold work and the fact that it is never ordinary, and it elevates turquoise out of its usual sterling frame into something so.
It sets off the stones, so you really see the markings in the stone and just the gorgeous color that shines through.
So when Elyse was talking earlier about Gurhan being in the marketplace and watching artisans hammer gold and how he carried that sheet in his wallet trying to figure out how it had strength and integrity. I talk to my clients a lot about gold by its nature. It's not really structurally strong. It practiced the atom, the makeup, it's practiced a lot of social distancing, or maybe just like, click or 2 or 3 things that are bonded and the rest are a little bit loose. When you hammer and you apply that continuous pressure, you are lining up those atoms, as Elyse said. My visual for that is, think of just kind of a mosh pit going on and people dancing, or you think of the Rockettes all lined up, arm in arm, high stepping, kick stepping, very strong, great precision. Nothing is going to break that line because they are all attached so firmly. That's the best way I can explain what Gurhan does to gold, which is why, as an American, I say, I hear 14 karat or 18 karat, 24, everybody recoils in horror. No, there's ways that you can surmount this, and he has absolutely gone back into the centuries and done this. So
not only did he learn to do that, but he created or recreated the tools that he read about, which is really incredible. Because he felt that the jewelry that was made in ancient times for the kings and the queens and the aristocrats, that should be available to everyone. The beauty of 24 karat gold is insurmountable.
So when we're talking about Gurhan, sorry, Elyse, I'm jumping off.
That's all right.
I wanted you to talk a little bit about this incredible partnership, because it's between these two people that really a lot of these finds get to us.
Absolutely. Well, it's a very cute story. Fiona was in finance and was traveling on vacation with one of her girlfriends and came across Gurhan's jewelry in a tiny little store in Istanbul. And she loved several pieces and inquired about the designer, and he was not around. He was on vacation in on the Bosphorus, or we're in that area by the sea. And Fiona and her girlfriend were heading there after the city. So she asked for them to connect them so she could meet the designer. And needless to say, there became a fast friendship, and they continued to get to know each other via telephone and emails. I think were not even happening at that point so much. But she invited him to come to the United States, and she said she would help introduce him to different store owners. And he took her up on her offer and came to New York, and the rest is history. They were married a year later, and they built this amazing company. They've been in business over 20 years and still going strong, and they still, inspire each other, which is just so wonderful. Here you see some of our
inspirations. I mean, where
his inspirations come from the world around him. They love to travel. He is a huge collector. He loves to collect antiquities, stones, micro mosaics. He loves to collect history. He is just an amazing student. He loves to learn. And when he comes across a piece, he learns everything about it. And it makes it even that much more exciting to share once he turns it into jewelry. Here you see some of his pure gold collections. And you notice that the diamonds are bezel set. He typically uses rose cut diamonds because he loves that antique feel, which rose cut diamonds are prevalent in antique jewelry. And he has carried the old world look forward in a modern way. Here you see again some very modern settings, very layerable, very modern, but still made the old way.
What I like, if I can interrupt here, is
Sure.
I met him at Couture at the big jewelry show. He was talking about his jewelry, and he's a man of few words. But he did talk about that his jewelry is inspired by the women who wear his jewelry.
Absolutely.
How we use it to symbolize things that are important to us. I love his malachite pieces because malachite is one of the warding stones for safe travel. And in this day and age, I don't think I'll be getting on an airplane with.
I get it, but you know, and the
malachite.
truth of it is that he picked malachite because he does travel so much, and he also studies that, and he loves the properties of stone and all of the wonderful things attributed to different stones.
So tell me a little bit about what these things that we're seeing. Are these from a museum?
It's so interesting that all of these photographs in our slide presentation are photographs from Gurhan and Fiona's home in New York. They live in an apartment on the west side overlooking the Hudson, and he creates a bond with each piece that he collects. And many times, I would say probably most times, he lives with them before he ever starts to create something out of them, because he's choosing them because they're special to him. And he loves to see the history in them. So as you're looking through these pictures, this is not a set. This is actually their home. And he lives this table that they've set the pearls on is a hand-carved table that's spectacular. But he's inspired by all of these artifacts.
So most of these pieces, if not all of them, have gone through his hands, or he's had
everything he's touched.
He just doesn't go out to a big gem show and order a thousand carats.
He does not.
A thousand hands.
Okay. No, and that's what makes it so interesting, is that Gurhan hand chooses every stone he uses. So not only does he hand choose them, but he looks at each stone, and he loves hand cut stones because he doesn't want anything to feel mass produced. Everything is made by hand. Every stone is wrapped by hand in gold, is hand linked. Every single piece is touched by his hands or one of his goldsmith's hands. He has taught each of his goldsmiths how to make jewelry the way he does. They were never bench jewelers prior to working with Gurhan. They became bench jewelers based on Gurhan introducing them to that world. They're artisans. He chooses artists that he could train to do the jewelry the way he does.
So his aesthetic is more of the studio jeweler.
Correct. He, when he's making things, he's making them truly for him. He loves them. He loves every part of it.
So when he's collecting these pieces, is there a possibility that they're one-ofs, two-of?
Everything. Gurhan probably, we have a huge collection, as you could see on JB Hudson's website, as well as our website for information, but he has probably 75% of our collection is one of a kind. He does, as I said, does not buy machine-made stones. He does not make 10 of anything.
Okay.
Classic and core collections can buy anything based on the woman who wants it. We don't just make standard sizing. Everything is made for the customer in mind.
Okay, we are going to actually take a question that came in. Jen, if you could go back 2 screens to the pearls. We have someone in our audience that would like to know more about these pearls, what they are, what we're seeing in front of us, all those tonal qualities.
I know, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous. The golden pearls and there's some gray pearls mixed in, some silver pearls, and then gold balls. These are all, well, they're mixed freshwater and South Sea. They're spectacular.
So a strand like
organic, they're very
both long and like neck length?
We do all different lengths. We have done them in 18 inches, and you'll note that when Gurhan is making necklaces, he always gives the option to be able to shorten or lengthen. We always add an extra links on the edge so that it can go longer depending on what you're wearing. If it's winter and you've got a turtleneck on, you might want an 18-inch. If it's summer and you've got it under, with a t-shirt or inside a cotton blouse, you might want it at 16 inches.
Let's hope we're heading towards the cotton blouse.
I know, that's what we're hoping
here pretty soon.
That's what we're hoping for.
Now, thank you, Jen, for bringing us back to this screen. Tell me a little bit about the bracelet. Is this a bracelet or a necklace?
This actually is a necklace, and
be still my heart.
Our beautiful antiquity necklaces. You'll note that each station is quite different. He has used micro mosaics that are all these are all antiquities. The intaglios, which are the carved out stones, the little pictures that are carved into the stone. And then there are several carved stones you see in that ruby that's all carved, the coin.
Yep, I see that.
The satsuma that's above that's a lava cameo, and then
that's the light colored one. Is the satsuma? Okay.
And then if you go the other way, you see the intaglio, a micro mosaic with a stone in the center.
Oh, the blue one. Okay.
And then another micro mosaic, and then there's another intaglio to the side of it. And these really interesting bronzes, they could have been a button on a uniform. It could have been a piece on a chandelier or something within a building. He has collected some amazing bronze crosses, which you'll see as we're going through, but they're all antiquities. And when purchased, we put together a whole letter of authenticity, which we will then send to JB Hudson, and they share with their clients so that you have, documenting the history of the piece.
I just think that's such an amazing.
It is. It's really cool.
That you have.
It's really special.
An ability to hold, in some instances, 1 and 2,000-year-old pieces in your hand.
Absolutely.
Part of your collection and express who you are. So talk about these micro mosaics in front of us.
The micro mosaics are gorgeous, and I'll tell you, they're getting harder and harder to find. They're very difficult to make. So there are very few artisans that continue to make them. They have gotten so expensive because they're so intricate. They're tiny little shards of glass. It astounds me how they can really envision the image. It's like a painter, except you can't sketch it out beforehand. They're using these tiny little shards of glass to build up these gorgeous pictures. Are from Florence, turn of the century, really amazing.
Yeah. So I will tell you,
I see a question from Laura. They are, the way Gurhan wraps them in gold, the actual picture or the mosaic is protected. So there's nothing standing up to get knocked. The frame protects the actual picture.
So in the world of antique jewelry and estate jewelry, which is definitely my passion, micro mosaics are a specialty branch of the industry, and I happen to adore them, and I've sold many, many fine ones. They tend to deal with very noble and heroic. They deal with the runes, the Roman runes or Greek runes that you see. You'll see very sentimental ones. You'll see highly religious ones. And Elyse is right. They're all made out of pieces of glass. And the very, very early ones, there's so many little pieces of glass put into this frame, into what's holding them, that some of them have 2,000 to 3,000 pieces per square inch. Which, if you think about that,
amazing. If you loop it, you can see all of that.
You do, because they are glass. You really, you can wear this. They're wearable. That's why he tries to make them into pendants and earrings. He'll do a few rings, but you don't want to subject them to temperature changes like from freezing to extreme heat, because what is holding those beautiful little pieces of glass in there is actually glue. A very, very early animal hide glue, and you don't want to expose it to temperature extremes.
Right.
I do love them. My favorite one is actually, if you go back to, is the Doves of Pliny.
Oh, I know, it's gorgeous.
Yep, this one at the bottom down here. It's based on a Roman floor that was found in about the 1730s in Hadrian's Villa, and they're called the Doves of Pliny, and it's unbelievable, the detail. I remember when he had this necklace. Mm-hmm. The detail, the coloration, there were like 4 different colors in just the bird's beaks alone, out of little glass tiles. It was absolutely.
It's like a photograph. It's truly amazing.
Yep.
And here you see a pair of earrings. If you look closely, they look like a match. But if you look closely, you'll see the differences in it. It's very rare that he can get 2 pieces that are similar enough to do as a match set. But the beauty is that they are one of a kind.
Yep.
This is a touch of coral, and I'm sure everybody is aware that coral's endangered. Gurhan has not purchased any new coral in years and years. He is only using coral that he currently owns, that is in what we call the Stone Depot in Turkey, where he has all the stones that he's been collecting. He could be buying stones, when we have our Centurion show in Arizona at the beginning of February, and the stone show is right after that, when he goes to look for new stones to add to his collection to then start working on the next season. And this is all old coral, but stunning. I mean,
and this is one of the design aesthetics I love about him. He's not about the matchy that
absolutely
go together. He appreciates the undulation and the soft color gradation changes in the coral, the same as he does with his gemstones.
Absolutely, and that's what he loves. Truly,
to me, that's the artisan in him coming forward. And
absolutely,
his awareness of how light and color play.
And again, this is just giving you an idea of some of the collections that they have at home. I can't even begin to express. I mean, these photographs definitely give you a good feel, but when you're in their home and they've got so many ledges, the crazy part of me, because I'm really type A and not not creative like Gurhan, that all I think about is dusting all little things. But it's amazing. He doesn't want to part with them. He loves the pieces he chooses.
I kind of sense that he's the type of person that when he is in his apartment, when he's in his safe place or our shelter in place, he probably walks around and picks things up and remembers where he was,
Absolutely,
what was going on, what was his mood. And that's a joyous experience to have something that brings you back in memory to these times that are so precious. And
I agree.
I can see why he might have a hard time parting with some of these pieces. I'm the original Smog the dragon. I don't part with anything.
I know. And you can relate because you're a similar person. And that's what's so cool. And that's why, the people that appreciate the artisan aspect, that is our true client. Somebody that doesn't want to see themselves coming and going. They want something special for them. It's not about price point, because we have very gorgeous, exotic, expensive pieces, but it's not that classic mech ball necklace. It's something that you wear every day. It's not about the price. It could be very expensive or not, but it's something that you'd wear every day because it feels right. The hammering makes it more wearable.
Well, and that's the part, you address the price, that some of these pieces can become a much higher price point. But what I like about them is the way he puts his gold on them, it's very signature. So his classic daily wear lentil earrings will go with
absolutely
an expensive necklace. So you can pull in more the casual everyday wearing aspect pieces along with these one-ofs, and it works beautifully.
Absolutely. And you can mix it. And that's the beauty. You see in this bottom picture with the rings, those are sterling with accents of gold. And you notice how we put them in the same frames as the gold, the pure gold. But we want to encourage women to wear the things they love. We want you to mix and match. It's fun to mix your sterling silver with accents of gold to wear, along with your pure gold. There are no rules. The rule is you wear what you love. You make it your own. That's what makes it fabulous.
Well, and I think that goes back to his aesthetic, that he designs jewelry for the women who wear it.
Yes, absolutely.
Instead of putting his imprint on how he thinks we should look.
I agree.
All of those leads from the women that buy his jewelry.
Now, these are all fancy sapphires, and I think you guys had this piece. It's a one of a kind, as many of these photos are, and you guys had this and sold this piece.
I believe you're right, yes.
Similar, but the colors in this necklace are spectacular.
Mm-hmm. And they're flattering. Not only
on everyone.
And their comfort.
Is a great, yes, absolutely. Just the feel, I have to say that when you feel the 24 karat pure gold against your skin, it becomes part of you. That it absorbs the heat from your body. It just becomes a part of you. Because there's no alloy in it, it just exudes you. It's amazing.
Oh, if we could go back to that bracelet. I remember seeing this bracelet in the line, was it last year or the year before?
I think it was a year ago.
Okay. And quite often designers, when they're putting pieces together, they want everything to match. They will buy 100 carats of matched rubies and make sure everything goes, so there's no variation. He actually puts together this very playful, bright, it almost is like a walkway of gorgeous shades of different colors of ruby. Is it ruby and pink tourmaline?
Pink, no, it's pink tourmalines.
It's all pink tourmaline. So you get this incredible play of both light and dark. Now I know some people are worried about what that it doesn't look like a window pane. It's not totally clean. And that seems to be a trademark with him, is that he goes for
It
things that have
is.
interest.
It is. He refers to it as the garden in the stone, which at first I was a little confused by it, but then as I started to really pay attention and look at each piece, you can see to him that's the life in the stone.
Oh, look
And
at that ring at the
I
bottom.
know, isn't that gorgeous? That's labradorite. Absolutely beautiful. The gold just sets it off, but I want you to really notice the little tiny skittle rings that are tiny little stones, but he takes the same care of choosing these tiny little stones as he does the big stones, because to him, that little stone with that gorgeous, pink tourmaline or a tiny little opal, the stone, the color from the stone is so vibrant that it stands on its own. And then when you stack it with other things, makes it even more fun. It's just such a wonderful way of making the jewelry your own.
Absolutely. I think that his aesthetic and the care he takes from the smallest of pieces to the one-ofs is amazing. And it really talks to his belief in how he wants his jewelry viewed, his belief in how jewelry should be made, and his belief in that he's doing it a way that people can really appreciate the hand effort in this. And I have to tell you, these necklaces right here, Elyse is wearing three of my favorite necklaces, the Vertigos.
And these are,
Elyse,
these are the classic.
You have to get a little more up there so we can see your neck. These are the most sensuous, gorgeous gold chain.
They just move with you. I can't tell you how gorgeous they feel on. They absolutely move with you.
They flex and roll.
Truly, they're perfect for day or night. As you could see in the photograph, that we do them embellished with diamonds or plain. They're wonderful to use on their own, but you can also layer things with them. You can hang a pendant on them. There are so many wonderful things that you could do to change the look depending on where you're going and what you're doing.
Well, the Vertigo chains at JB Hudson are one of our favorite go-tos, because if we
agree,
coming in with an antique piece from a mom or from a grandmother, quite often the color of the gold is going to look extremely similar, if not perfectly matched to the color of Gurhan, because a lot of times they use 18, 22 karat gold, and he's one of the few people that really offers that choice. Oh, and I just love this cuff, I have to tell you.
I know, this cuff is spectacular. And you know what? He loves to challenge himself. The cool thing is that, when you're dealing with stones and something like a cuff bracelet, which you can move and it kind of molds to your body, that he did his entire design within a frame so that it couldn't be compromised when you start to move the cuff to be, to fit closer. So you can move the actual cuff without affecting any of the stone. It was brilliant. And
I think that brings up his engineering background, because
that's his engineering trade. Yes,
absolutely.
Absolutely, Kim.
Yep.
Again, every square inch is hammered over 1,500 times. That is what gives it the density and the strength. And to Gurhan, those are his fingerprints. Everything is touched from beginning to end. And you can see it here in these cuffs, that it feels, that it belongs to somebody.
I will tell you that the feel of these cuffs, it's like you're touching butter.
It's so true, Kim.
The weight of it, and then it starts up immediately in your fingers, and you just feel like it's, there's not much that compares with.
No, I agree.
On gold.
Opals. This is in Australia. Well, they're all Australian opals. Fiona's from Australia. That could be why he is so fond of Australian opals. They're spectacular. The colors, you feel like you could just jump right in. It looks like a pool. even the smaller stones, each one of those bezel set stones on that earring is spectacular. The color is just as beautiful as it is in the big stone. Again, just
these earrings, that
special.
oval shape is so flattering on the
It
jawline.
really is. It really is.
And I understand he makes these in various sizes.
He does, and I'll tell you also that you notice he takes true care to the way he designs them, because you are dealing with stones, and this is a large size earring, but the way he balances it on the top, we have the larger earring backs that really secure the earring, so it takes the pressure off of your ear, so you don't feel the weight of it. It stabilizes the whole thing. They're really so comfortable to wear, and
they're gorgeous.
I mean, it's gorgeous.
So here we're back to his DNA of unbelievable gold. This is one of the
classic collections.
Classic pieces. Yep.
Amulet. The Amulet collection, which is something that he has been doing for years. This is brand new, this particular part of the collection. He did an all-around amulet, and then several different sizes rings that could be stacked, as well as a big cocktail type ring.
Fabulous. Oh,
this is a gorgeous glam shot. Pave diamonds in our lentil earrings. Now, he named his collections based on, in ancient times, when they were making 24 karat gold pieces, they would use beans and grains to to act as a stabilizer, and they build up the gold around it. Well, now we know you can't do that, because anything that's a food type item would go bad. But not, so he has his own formula for a stabilizer within these pieces, but this is called the Amulet collection, or excuse me, the Lentil collection, because in ancient times, this shape, which is a flattened round shape, it looks like a lentil bean. And
I love that. I love that high.
I know, I love it. I love it. Another glam piece. This is part of our Monarch collection, and just a spectacular bracelet. It moves like fabric. I mean,
yeah, this is one of those things that literally it drapes. Elyse, you're 100% correct. It drapes just like fabric. You can literally take it and almost like you're twisting a silk tie, or taking, just flexing a piece of fabric on your body. It has that, but yet it stays in place on your wrist.
Exactly. Well, if you notice that whole bar, it clips in this whole bar, so it becomes one continuous piece.
Excellent.
Pink tourmaline, and this is mixed watermelon tourmaline. So you see the little edge where it starts to change colors. This is just a gorgeous piece, but this gives you a really good feel for the garden in the stone, what Gurhan looks for.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful.
It's like a living, breathing thing.
And what woman would not look great with that pop of flattering color right up by her
jawline? That would be beautiful on you, Kim.
Honestly, yeah, it'd be. Oh, wow.
And this shows you how he just mixes different stones. He just has such an amazing eye. That, I mean, these stones are all different. Some are calves. Some are faceted, some are emerald shaped. It's just so different and beautiful. Again, he paired it with a really classic core type earring, just classic gold lentil little hoop drop. It's just such an easy way from day to night.
And there you see the adjustability that Elyse was talking about on this bracelet. It has the option of literally being an inch shorter, inch longer.
Yeah.
Do you want to wear it over the sleeve of a sweater? Do you want to wear it on just a bare arm? Is it going in a stack where it's going to need a little bit more room to move around? He thinks of all these things.
He really does. He
That's
really
his
does.
engineering background. Okay.
Gorgeous Ethiopian opals or golden opals. I was first introduced to these probably a year and a half ago. And I tell you, when you pair it with the 24 karat, it's like the opals glow, the gold glows. It's amazing. And it picks up, I mean, even laying here, you see how different it looks on the green and on the orange. Depending on what you're wearing, it pulls the colors from the opals. It's just gorgeous and just a fun, whimsical look. Again, here he used the little seed pearls mixed with rainbow moonstone and the little gold teardrop beads. He really wanted to do something fun, and he wanted like a celebration. He wanted to do something that was interesting instead of just classic bridal type jewelry. He wanted to do something that would set the gal apart, something really special instead of just a diamond stud or a little hoop. He wanted something that wouldn't take away from her gorgeous dress, but would set her off. And he did that in close earrings and long pendants and all kinds of fun things.
Oh, so these are some of my favorites that we found at last year's couture. Honestly, folks, you know how I am about talismans. You know how I am about jewelry that speaks to the persons who is wearing it, to jewelry that becomes part of not only their wardrobe, but frankly, their psyche. And this line is incredible. Elyse, if you could quickly tell us about what
Absolutely. Gurhan had designed this again. This was last couture, and he wanted to design a collection that really celebrated women's empowerment. We know that things have been, with the Me Too and women really standing up and speaking out for themselves. And he wanted to do something to celebrate that, especially since his collection is such a self-purchase type collection. So he designed these keys. He did 5 Viking and 5 Roman. So the first ones are Viking and the first 5 are Viking and the last 5 are Roman. And just to give you an idea, this first key is Felicitous, which is good luck and fortune. And he designed these to look like antiquities. He used the ancient bronze techniques along with the gold and genuine stones, diamonds, and precious stones. And
they're fabulous
for women in the books that he was reading, which I thought was super cool. Because in ancient times, when a woman got married, she was given the key to the household. She was the guardian of the key, hence the name, the Guardian Collection.
Oh, these are absolutely smashing. And we do have 3 of them in the store. And here you can see them layered up.
Gorgeous.
As a collection or as a larger message that you want to give out or even feel empowered with yourself. They work well with antique pieces. They work lovely with other designer pieces because it's a vehicle for you to get and feel your message is important.
Absolutely. And this is just a little bird's eye view into Gurhan's workshop.
I like it because it looks like a bar.
No, it does. And truly, it must have been a bar at some point, because his workshop is all in the back of that, and it's like a living room in the front. It's a really special place, and you get such a feel. It's not set up as a store. He meets with clients here. He does a lot of work for celebrities and people that, don't want to shop in a traditional way. I've had many of my stores bring special clients into New York to get to work with Gurhan one-on-one. He has repurposed a lot of the stones that they've had or that they've inherited from family members. And
I'm seeing a couple ladies rocking the Vertigo necklaces here.
yes, you see Angelina Jolie. She's wearing a mix like I have. She's got 5 on. I've got 3.
Wow, that is just gorgeous. It looks yummy.
It really is.
And I see
And here's a beautiful stack. Fun to make your own based on your favorite colors or birthstones of your family or whatever moves you. That's what makes it fun, making jewelry your own.
well, I want to thank you, Elyse, so much for bringing us this
Oh, Kim, it's my pleasure.
Gurhan, both the person and the line. I also want to thank our audience for staying with us on a Friday night and enjoying a little bit of jewelry talk. We do tend to love it, and when we all get together, what do we talk about? We talk about jewelry. I enjoy that. So for those of you,
I thank you so much.
oh, and I want to thank you for joining. Keep attending. Keep looking at our website for further webinars that we are doing on jewelry and lines that we're passionate about. And please feel free to give us a review, both on Google and on Yelp. We do live and die by reviews. We all like them. And if you want to stay for a little second and ask Elyse a question, please unmute yourself and come up and ask a question.